will go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Today we have Sharlene Bucasas with us. She's going to be going over how to manage your energy and be productive. So without further ado, Sharlene, go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sharlene. I work at Transportation Services and I manage student employees. I wanted to talk about this topic because we talk a lot about time management, but I don't think we talk enough about like what the energy it requires to get things done. So before we start, I was just curious, what fun things do you do to recharge your battery? So like Christine last month, we'll go around and share, but I'll do it differently. I'll share and then I'll pass it on to someone. We'll do this for like 2 minutes. So the fun thing I do to recharge my battery is I write people notes. I like postcards. I collect them. So when it reminds me of someone, I'll send them a postcard. Let's see. Andrew, what do you do to recharge your battery? And go ahead and just take yourself off mute.
Sure. One thing that I really enjoy doing a lot is just listening to music. Something as simple as that just gets me out of my head and, kind of allows me to just, I don't know, be a little mindless for a bit. And then after, get back to work. And I always have something playing while I'm doing work as well, too. So, yeah, that's what I do.
Do you have your song that pumps you up?
It depends. If I'm doing work, I try to keep it to some mostly instrumental stuff. So lo-fi hip hop has been really, really my thing lately because it's just soft instrumental beats and stuff to kind of not distract you so much on lyrics. But if I'm trying to do workout or something else, then yeah, I mean, I have different music that I listen to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pass it on to somebody.
Sure. Albert.
Hey, everyone. I would say that the thing that gets me recharged is, so I've got 3 dogs and they're all insane. So I'll take them on a super, my partner and I will take them on a super long, half-hour walk. And by the time we get back, it's kind of okay, we got some sun, got the energy going, the blood flowing, and so that kind of does the trick every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you could probably hear them in the background. All right. So I'll pass it on to Diana.
I knew you were going to pass it to me, Albert.
You know what? You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana. Cooking really is therapeutic for me. So it's aromatic and it's relaxing, and I get into just creating, and that for me is something that I enjoy doing to kind of recharge and step away and do something just for me.
That's awesome. And I like that you said it's just for you.
Yes. I will pass it on to Brittany.
One thing that I do to recharge, usually during my workday, is being a part of LEAD gives me the opportunity to use my creative side. And so that's part of, what I enjoy of being able to do marketing and stuff. So a lot of times actually doing the stuff for LEAD is kind of like my break and my way to recharge.
That's awesome. Let's go with one more. Go ahead, Brittany.
I will pass it on to Ricky.
Hi, everyone. I mean, mine isn't quote unquote fun, I would say, but I like to spend mindless hours on YouTube and TikTok and just kind of, get stuck in my couch for a little bit to recharge and, clear my mind a bit. But that's what I do. It's not as exciting as some of the others, but yep, that's it.
That's okay. I'll share a little secret with all of you, so it won't be a secret anymore. I have a niece, so sometimes when I really need to disconnect, I'll watch one of the cartoons she's into, so just so I have something to talk about with her later. But it's the furthest I can get from my email or my project at the moment, so I totally get it. All right, so moving on. I'm really sorry. First of all, thank you all for sharing. We all need something that just gets us back in the right energy and the right mental space. And to do that, we just need to take a break. So today we're going to talk about motivation versus discipline, what it takes to keep going, and then resilience and persistence. What are the 4 sources of energy? Habits to manage that energy, so how to keep it up and maintain it, and then how to refuel it in case something derails your energy. And then if we have time at the very end, we'll quickly talk about developing habits. So because part of the survey I sent out to some of the campus leaders, talk about what new habits they want to develop. So I think that's awesome. All right. Motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. So while I love motivation, it's not a practice that's sustainable. It's just depending on an external factor to keep you going, while discipline is a more of a learned behavior. And if we've all studied a little psychology or social psychology, just learning a new trained behavior can keep you going. Like, say, think about when you brush your teeth. If you stop and think about it, you probably do it the same way every morning. Or if you commute to work, you probably take the same route. And if you thought about it, you probably move on to the exit lane at the same location every time. I noticed when I would drive to school, I noticed when I was in high school, I would be on specific lanes, on specific streets to avoid potholes. And all of this happens as a learned behavior of something happening. And it's just a discipline I've developed. And we can harness that to keep our energy up. So the kind of habits we want to develop build resistance and persistence. So resilience in terms of ways to bounce back when our energy gets taken or that we've relinquished too much of it, and persistence to keep our energies up throughout the day. So the 4 sources of energy are mind, body, spirit, and emotion. Mind and body, pretty self-explanatory. The cognitive energy, you need to think about things to tackle your task, your body just to sustain you. So we're talking about sleep, eating right, movement. Spirit, it's that energy that connects you to a sense of fulfillment, a sense of happiness, a sense of being part of something larger than yourself. It's that feeling that when you're doing the right thing at the right time, being in going through life and you found your place. That's where that energy comes from. And then emotional, just that happy feeling. We had at the beginning, we had talked about things that make us happy to re-energize, and that happy feeling can sustain us longer throughout the day. So, what we're going to talk about are about 10 to 15 different habits we can develop to increase and maintain our energy and make us more productive throughout the day. So most of them will focus on mind, spirit, and emotion, because I'm pretty sure everyone has some idea of what they need to keep up their physical energy. So first and foremost, no more mental notes. Write down everything, but I don't mean it literally. I mean it, get it out of your head. I read a quote somewhere that said, think about all the things that are taking space in your mind rent free. So what you want to do is just get it out so it's not bothering you throughout the day. Things I'm talking about are reminders to do something at a specific time, a meeting that you can't forget you have to go to because it was rescheduled. Making sure you get to your kids' recital or play at a specific time at the end of the day. Set reminders, write it down, put it in your calendar, put a calendar reminder, write a post-it. The point is get it out of your mind so that you can focus on what you're doing right now, because mentally we can't hold that many things at once in our brain. David Allen said, and he's the author of a book called Getting Things Done. He said, your mind is for having ideas, not holding on to them. So his philosophy is have a system for writing everything down, a very simple system. Do it on your phone, do it on paper, but get it out of your mind, and then make time either daily or weekly to go through the list and get them and sort them out to the right places. So add them to your calendar, put a Post-it, make that one phone call you need to the dentist to schedule your dentist appointment. The point is get it out so you're not thinking about it and distracting yourself from the task at hand. The other one is limit your options. Decision fatigue is a real one. So how many of you shop at Trader Joe's or Target for your groceries? There's a reason why, one of the reasons why those are so popular is because they have less choices than traditional supermarkets. Less choices means you're not standing there thinking about it as often. I know if I were standing in a grocery store full of cereals or different produce and things like that, having to choose makes me tired, especially if I'm trying to do a healthy choice and I got to read through all the labels. Less choices makes it easier on me. And you can also incorporate this into your own life, like wear a uniform. One person in my survey said that they plan their meals and outfits the week ahead. So that's one less thing they got to think about or look through throughout the week. I personally have just started this practice with my partner. We write down our meals for the week. So I am spending less time texting him throughout the day, like, what are we going to eat? Did you defrost that? And things like that. The next one is create routines. Part of my survey, a lot of people have a morning routine, and that is awesome. It's it's a collection of disciplines that or habits that you've linked together to get something done. So a lot of people talk about their morning routines, which is awesome. And what I really love is that there's some part of self-care involved in that. The great thing about routines is that it takes less mental space. It makes you happy if done right. Also, when you don't do your routine, you also feel a little disconnected. Again, that's also another motivation for you to keep at your routine. You can incorporate routines at work, whether it be how you tackle a specific type of task, like processing recharges. I had a system for which ones I would do first, which ones I would do next, and leave all the hard ones last. I could also move my cursor to the next button before the next screen because I was just so used to it. And I know some of you have understand what I'm trying to talk about because it takes 10 clicks to just process one recharge. But yes, building routines into your workday definitely gives you one less thing to think about, and it'll be more automatic for you. Your golden hour. Are any of you photographers or know what I'm talking about when the golden hour? Anyone who want to share? So the golden hour is that time of day where the lighting is just perfect. You know, you get that great quality photo, and it doesn't happen all day. It's just that one moment in the day. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because everyone has that one moment or probably 1 hour or 2 times in a day when they are at their peak. At this time, you should be using it to process the items that mean the most to you, those big projects. It shouldn't be reactive. You should be using this time taking this time for yourself to do something that's really meaningful to you. If you're using this to be reactive, like answering emails or waiting on a phone call, it is taking away probably your most productive hour of the day. So consider what it is and then schedule time and block out time to just focus on a specific task. After you do that specific task for say 60 or 90 minutes, it's important to take a break. So while we do circadian rhythms at night when we sleep throughout the day, we also have rhythms throughout the day, and they fluctuate between 60 and 90 minutes and then require a period of rest. So during this period of rest, you can do a variety of different things. What is most important is that you take time away from, you completely disengage from the task that you were doing. It doesn't, the quantity of time you take for your break is less important than the actual quality. You need to completely disengage. So some people said that they take 5 minutes to hang out with their dog, or they go for a walk. One person from my department said that they go and do the task that bothers them most, which I thought was really interesting, because doing that also just gives you a feeling of happiness and accomplishment also, and it takes you away from the task that you just did. I don't know if any of you watch Gourmet Makes, but there was an episode where Claire cleaned the microwave during her break from her current project because it was just bothering her, and coming back from that made her just feel 10 times better. So next up, we're going to talk about delegating tasks. And some people mentioned that this is one of the things this is a habit they want to work on. The great thing about delegating tasks, it's not just beneficial for yourself, it's beneficial for your team. This works really well for people that find a lot of that hold their people in high regard, hold their team and want to develop them. And how, I have some tips on how we can do that, but for the sake of time, we'll probably won't get to all of that. So, I'll quickly go over that. So when you want to delegate tasks, think about the things that you want to let go of to make more room for your top priorities. Is this a task that you really have the authority to delegate? If not, then you can just completely move on from this. But if so, then it's worth thinking about. Also consider the long-term how the long-term benefits are going to weigh the short-term challenges, because there are short-term challenges with delegating. And that's why a lot of people don't delegate as much as they want to, because they know that there's a cost of training someone. But it's important to really think about the long-term benefits of this of delegating a task. Now, who should you delegate to? Who has the necessary information and expertise to do this task? Who has the potential to do this task better than me? Who has the passion and interest for this? And who would benefit from this developmental opportunity? So for example, I had to plan a party, and there's also the aspect of planning for food. I asked somebody else to do it because honestly, they really wanted to do it. They knew of people within that we were inviting that had food allergies or specific food preferences, and having specific food allergies themselves, they wanted to make sure everyone felt more comfortable. So this was something they were passionate about. They wanted to take it on from themselves. They would have found more joy in it than I would. So I was glad to relinquish that, that task. The next habit to develop is expressing appreciation. I wrote this is probably the biggest and boldest of my slides, because while it's so simple, I thought it was really profound in the sense that I didn't think so much that expressing appreciation was somehow going to benefit me or increase my energy. But the more I thought of it, the more I realized it's true. Telling people thank you gives you, or telling people thank you, giving them a gift, calling your mom, helping a stranger really does give you a sense of satisfaction. It gives you that happy feeling, and in addition to that, it re-energizes you. So if expressing appreciation isn't part of your work culture yet, that's okay. What you can start doing is placing your bets often, and bet just means behavior, effect, and thank you. That's all it takes to be specific about what you want to thank someone for. You can do it in email, you can do it quickly as someone walks by, but as leaders, if we want to change our work culture, it does start with ourselves. Tony Schwartz said, a powerful ritual that fuels positive emotion is expressing appreciation to others, a practice that seems to be as beneficial to the giver as it is to the receiver. And the more detailed and specific, the higher the impact. So if I've had you come talk to my students for my employee appreciation week, I've had my students write detailed thank yous. And it really just enforces the lessons they've learned through the workshops, and it makes the presenters feel good. We're about halfway through. So next up is limiting multitasking. I say limit because I'm well aware that I'm well aware that it's impossible to not multitask. There's not enough hours in the day. Some tasks will have a long waiting period, so it makes sense to multitask. But what's important is that you limit it to low and short cognitive tasks. And we all know how this works. Like, you can talk to someone while you're cooking. You can listen to a podcast while you're walking. You can tidy up your office while you're on the phone. It really works best with low cognitive tasks and physical ones that you have motor memory for. Any questions so far? Okay. So if you're limiting your if there are benefits to limiting your multitasking, there are also benefits to batching like items. So what I'm talking about is as event coordinators. For example, if you have events to schedule, if there are details you need to work through, and then you have to schedule your people, having one day or like a specific time of day every day where that's what you work on will make you more productive, because if you save all those tasks for one specific time, then you'll really have that feeling of focus, of being in the zone. And everyone knows when you feel like when you're in the zone, everything just works out faster and better. Now, what should you do if things don't go your way? One of the best things you can do is practice taking a few deep breaths. What this does is it slows down the triggers for fight or flight response, and then limits your stress. So when you're in your fight or flight response, it makes it harder for you to think clearly. Your body is literally in a state of stress, and it doesn't feel good. So taking a few deep breaths really calms you down, really helps you assess what's going on, and helps you get through the next phase and think more clearly. Another thing you can do when things aren't going your way, like a project's taking a turn, or the feedback you got for your project isn't what you thought it would be, or now you have to work on the weekends, something you can do is change your narrative. A lot of times in psychology, we learn that when things go bad, you externalize them. This person did this to me. Why is this happening to me? Like, you had no control over it. But when things go well, we tend to take credit for that. Like, I went to take my car to the shop this weekend. I worked really hard on this project. What we need to do is change our narratives of bad situations so that we can see what part of it we had a choice in, and to choose to see the positive in that situation. So, for example, Shauna did this when she came to our department. She did an exercise where we changed our I have to I choose to. So one person said, I have to clean the backyard this week. I have to spend Saturday cleaning the backyard. The way he reframed it is, I choose to clean the backyard this Saturday for my wife's birthday party. And then he paused and he took another second to think about it. And he said, and you know what? I get to spend time with my son doing it. So one positive thought leads to another. So if we can change our narrative, we have more control of the situation. and tend to have happier feelings about that. One of the most important things we can do to align our energy with our productivity is to define your values. So one person from my survey says that they have a reminder twice a day. And it says, a reminder that goes off twice a day that says, what is the most important thing I can do today? Or is this the most important thing I can do today? And I thought that was really interesting because it focused and had them focus on what's important and stop to think about that. Not everything we do throughout the day is adding up to the big picture. Exactly what I was thinking, mindfulness. We spend a lot of our days being reactive. We need to focus our days on the 20% that's really going to make the most impact throughout our day. Any questions so far? So ways to define your values, and this goes back to Stephen Covey's seven habits of highly effective people. So you can list them in bullet points. You can save quotes that resonate with you. You can create a vision board if you're a visual person. And then what Stephen in his book suggests is write your mission statement, which I feel is pretty hard. So I think the other three are just a little easier. But yeah, if you have your mission statement, have your values out in front of you, whether it be in the front of your planner, whether it be a plaque above your desk or in your office, or whether it be something you wrote on your whiteboard. That way you have your goals and your values right in front of you so that you can always guide yourself back to it. And then when you do find that you're not in line with your values, you need to reset your boundaries. So a lot of people one of the things that I did for myself was that I signed up for to be a mentor. I mentor high school students, and I'm also in the Leads New program for to mentor other people. It's important to me. It makes me feel good. It's in line with my values because I really do like helping people get to the next level. And if I didn't set aside some time for that or joined a group where I had to be held accountable for that, I might not do it. So setting specific hours in my schedule that I have to go do this makes me feel good, makes me feel bigger than myself. So if you can find something like that, I suggest joining a group. And then that way you are held accountable to show up and do that at specific times. Another way you can build energy is to communicate what you need. Other people want to help you. If they don't know what you need, they can't help you. Also, putting things out in the universe makes things easier. So for example, I have a friend who is needs to move. Their rent is going to go up and it's just too much. So they casually told their coworker. Their coworker said, you know what? I know someone that is looking to rent their apartment and it hasn't been listed yet. They connected, their friend connected the two people. They have a new apartment to move into in the next few months. Another example is, I'm blanking out. My friend is a teacher. She mentioned that she's having a hard time finding butcher paper because she's now back in school and she wants to, do projects with her kids. Lo and behold, I actually have a stash of butcher paper that I've been trying to part ways with because I did not read the description on Amazon. Have we not all been there? And I'm going to go give it to her. So if you communicate what you need, you never know what's going to come back your way. And again, people want to help you. So if you don't tell them what you need, they can't help you. So those are all my tips. They can either be broken down by persistence, again, ways to maintain your energy and keep on track for your productivity, or ways to bounce back when your energy's been depleted. Do any of you if any of you have any, or sorry, if any of you took any tips that you wanted to start developing a habit for, there are some key things to consider when developing a habit, developing a sustainable habit. So when you think of starting a habit, think about what's the smallest thing you can commit to. So let's say you wanted to, we'll go with an easy one. Start working out. Or build your way up to like a 5K. What you can do, so you're telling yourself, okay, I can walk for like 30 minutes a day. If that's what you think you can do, start lower than that. So tell yourself you're gonna walk 10 minutes, 3 days out of the week. Start super small, super easy. That way that you build yourself up for some success. Eliminate any obstacles. So if you're like, well, I can't get up in the morning, open the blinds so that the lights come in. Put your shoes by the door. Go to work, go to bed in the clothes that you're gonna go walk out in. Charge your phone so that you have something to listen to. And then set a specific date, time, and location, and tell somebody that. That way you're held accountable. Having a date, time, and location makes you more likely to actually do that, because then you're like, oh, I can do it later. But no, if you have a date and time and location, it helps you focus on that. Then define the start of a habit and do the same thing every time. So if you were gonna, if you wanted to start going on more walks, start with the same song every day. Or the start of your task could be lacing up your shoes, or telling yourself, let's go, when you open the door. So having the same start of your habit tells your brain, okay, we're gonna go do this now. And then telling your brain that consistently will help you develop your habit. The other thing you need to do is visually track your consistency, whether it be have a calendar to mark it off, or hash marks that every time you've done it, gold sticker on your mirror every time you do your tasks. Just a visual track of like, yes, you keep doing this. And if you miss a day, that's okay. Look at all the other times you did your goal. The other thing to consider is celebrate small wins. So you went on your 10-minute walk. Do a little victory dance when you get back. Play a song, high five your partner, do things like that. Just celebrate the small milestones and celebrate them as they come up again. Have an accountability partner. I know for me, if I say something, and if I told someone I'm going to do it, now I'm like, dang, now I really have to do it. Or now somebody's going to, follow up with me, and I can't disappoint them. Especially if you tell someone that you hate disappointing, you're more likely to do it. And then my last piece of advice is have several measures of success. So you want to start walking. Why? Because you want to have more energy, because you want to do a 5K one day. But you have to have different measures of success. So do you have more energy? Do you feel good in the morning before you go to work? Does it make you happy? Have you made a friend? So have you got the courage to join the gym now? Have different measures of success, because if you didn't start losing weight, at least, your pants feel a little better, because having different measures of success makes you feel more successful. But these are things that we can apply to work so that we can raise our energy and feel more productive. And that's all I had. I realized I talked a mile a minute. But if you have any questions, please let me know.
I have a comment, Charlene. Actually, Charlene and I are accountability partners. We meet once a month and we get to talk about, where's our book? I don't know if you're going to see it with my background, but we actually just finished a book, The Leader's Greatest Return, how to produce leaders. And we finished that book and we're going to go on to another book, but we get to spend that hour together talking about each other's, our work areas and help each other get through different issues we're going through. So I think out of this, I think when you were talking about resetting your boundaries or becoming a mentor, I think that's very important in leadership, is to be a mentor to someone or an accountability partner or a coach. Yeah, I think you learn, they learn. So it's a win-win situation. And thank you so much, Charlene, and I'll turn it over to Brittany.
Yes, thank you so much, Sharlene, for that. It was very, very informative. And I know for me, I actually talked to Julie about me becoming a mentor in the Highlander Mentor Connection program that's run with LEAD, Staff Assembly, AMP, and HR. Because, you know, being a mentor, like Julie says, it's a key part in being a leader. And even if you don't think you have the skills, you may have skills that somebody else doesn't have. So don't always count yourself out on that. With that, I do know that we have a book to raffle, but I will ask really quickly if there are any questions, comments, anything of that sort that anybody wants to say. If you do, you're more than welcome to take yourself off mute, and I'll give you just a second for that. No, I guess not. Alrighty. So Sharlene, what is the book that you have chosen for us to raffle off?
It's called The Way We're Working Isn't Working. It talks about the 4 sources of energy and how to manage them.
Awesome. Alrighty, I will bring up my handy dandy little wheel. Okay. All right. So congratulations to Sarah Dillon. We will send you an email and get your address so that we can send that off to you. With that, is there anything else that you would like to say? Thank you again for your presentation. It was amazing.
Well, thank you.
If I could, I just want to say that I appreciate your comments about, paying appreciation to your workers. I think that it goes an extremely long way, especially in this remote environment. We're really separated from the institution and our regular work partners, day to day. And sometimes you're like, what am I working for? You don't get to see students and all kinds of things like that. So I think that it really motivates a person and makes them want to work harder for the institution or the department. When you just let them know, you know what, that a boy, you did really good, or that a girl, you did really good. It helps, I think.
I completely agree. It goes back to increasing your spiritual energy. Your connection is something bigger. If you can help your employees make those connections, it'll make them happier and more successful employees, more successful on the team. Any other comments or questions?
I think that's it. Thank you everybody for attending this session. We look forward to seeing you all at our next Follow Our Lead meeting. So this was our last leadership series for the academic year, but we do have our Follow Our Lead meeting on June 11th, and I will send an email out to everybody with that information. And Sharlene, I'm not sure if you want me to send your slides out as well. That's completely up to you.
Sure.
So I'll send all that out to everybody and feel free to share it. And just thank you for everybody for coming, and thank you, Sharlene, for presenting today.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Everyone have a great rest of the week.
And one more thing for those who are still here, we will be raffling off some awesome prizes at the Follow Our Lead. So every book that was presented or someone won at the series is someone's going to get to take the collection home. So and then we have some other prizes as well. So hope to see you there.
I didn't know that. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.